Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Do you hear me?
Yes, hello. Good afternoon.
Oh my God, Guillermo, your microphone works.
Yes.
Did you know what happened?
I think it's my old headphones is that.
Oh, okay. So they were your headphones. Okay,
Yes.
so I'm glad that you could make it work for today's class because I think that today's class is going to be more a class. Yesterday was
Yes.
a conversation class because we didn't have the full attendance. But today I hope so. So welcome everyone. I'm just missing Alondra and well, we have Isela. Isela is a student who always watches. She always watches. She's always watching us in the recordings. But since she has a very busy schedule, most of the time she's not with us. But she is also your classmate. So I hope she could join us in one of these classes. Okay, well, guys, good afternoon again. Now we're going to start with today's class. And remember, we are going to be working with the unit 7 and 8. So at this time, I'm going to smart. Give me a second. And we are here in our unit, and we are going. Okay, so tell me, how was your? Oh, that you had a plan.
Yes, I went a restaurant.
Okay, was it?
Yes.
What did you eat?
Something like that.
Well, here we are, 7-1. Everybody, please, let's go to use of English. 7-1, I've stopped playing. So everybody, please, let's go to this topic of grammar. I've stopped playing. 7-1. Tell me, please, when you are here.
Which part, teacher? Listening?
No, it's use of English.
Okay. Okay. I see.
There.
I'm there too.
Okay, so it says in here, this lesson is intended to be used as a preview of present perfect indefinite past. Okay, so we are going to start working with the perfect tenses. And this is a preview of the first present perfect we're going to be working with. So it says in here, work with a partner and practice the following conversations. Use the recordings to help you with the pronunciation and intonation of the words. Try to mimic the style of the speakers, which means that we're going to try to say it with the same pronunciation and the same, it says mimic because like moving hands and that, but since we are not in a face-to-face class, I mean, we can skip that part, but we can like try to imitate what they're saying, right, to their intonation of the words. So first we're going to listen to it once, and then I'm going to ask two of you to read it, okay?
Have you ever learned to play an instrument?
Yeah, I learned to play the saxophone when I was a kid.
Did you take lessons?
Well, I had a special class in high school called band. There were about 20 other students in my class, and they all played different instruments. Our teacher knew how to play all of them and taught us. It was a pretty cool class now that I think about it.
That does sound cool. Do you still play the sax?
Not really. No, I've stopped playing it.
Oh, that's too bad.
Okay, check something. They are using two different forms of the present perfect. I mean, it is exactly the same meaning. The difference is that one, in the first example we have in here, they use it in a question. Of course, when we're asking questions, we have to use the complete form of the tense we're using, right? We cannot contract any tense in a question. But once they start talking about different things, here, I've stopped playing it. Here, they are contracting it. So notice how this sounds. It's like a I've stopped. They don't say I have stopped. It doesn't mean that it is incorrect. Of course it is correct because this is what we're actually contracting, right? It's like if it said I have stopped. but it is way more common to use contractions in English than complete forms. Of course, it depends on what you're talking about, right? Because for example, when it is just an answer, like, I don't know, let's say if I ask you, have you ever learned to play an instrument? In this case, he's not actually answering with the tense here. He's just answered yep, which means yes, of course, right? So it means that we can just choose the shortest form to answer. But in this case, you could also have answered, yes, I have. And in that case, when they are very short answers, we have to use a complete form. Yes, I have. If you wanna, like, let's say that using the complete form is just like to make clear or make it even more clear than just saying yes, right? But nothing, it's just that when we are answering or using perfect tenses, it's very common to use contractions, right? And in this case, this is a contracted form of I have, which is pronounced I. Okay.
Teacher, I have a question in this part. Can I?
Of course, go ahead.
Yeah, in the letter A, in the first line, the question,
Okay.
it says, have you ever learned to play an instrument? And
Yes.
can I say, have you ever learned to play an instrument? No.
No, remember that when we're using infinitives, which is the verb with to play, to go, to watch, etc., we have to use the base form of the verb. That's why it is called infinitive, because we have to use it in its base form plus to, right?
Oh, okay, in this moment is present perfect. Is present perfect question?
Yeah.
Always the verb are in infinitive.
No, notice what I have in blue here. This is the perfect tense. This is like, for example, if I say I'm going to play, and if I say it in past, I went to play, and if I say it in present, I like to play, and if I say it in future, I will learn to play. So that part of to play doesn't have to do anything with the main verb. This is just something like, it is showing me, like, for example, if I say I'm going to the store, it's like I'm going to a store, right? The store is the object. And here, to play is the object of the sentence. Let's call it like that. It's not acting as a main verb.
Oh, what is the main verb? Learn?
Learn, yes.
Learn. Okay, I see. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, I need 2 volunteers. Who wants to reread this conversation?
Me.
Okay, Susana and? Okay, Jose, because he's the other one who has the microphone on. Okay, Jose.
Okay.
Whoever wants to start, go ahead, please.
Okay, ladies first.
Okay. Have you ever learned to play an instrument?
Yep, I learned to play the saxophone. I love saxophone when I was a kid.
Did you take lessons?
Well, I had a special class in high school called band. There were about 20 other students in my class, and they all played different instruments. Our teacher knew how to play all of them and taught us. It was a pretty cool class now that I think about it.
That does sound cool. Do you still play the sax?
No, not really. Not really. No, I've stopped playing it.
Oh, that's so bad. Too bad.
Very good. Excellent. Okay, let's go then to the second conversation. And here we're going to first listen.
How's your photography project going?
Pretty good. I've taken some really nice shots so far.
What are you taking photos of?
I'm trying to get shots of all the different sculptures on display around town.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, the city has certainly put up a lot of works of art all over the place. Have you seen the one at the entrance to Stanley Park?
Yes, I have. That's one of the sculptures I've taken photos of already.
Cool. Well, let me know if you need any help.
I will, thanks.
Okay, perfect. So now I want Guillermo and Jose Maria to read this conversation, please.
How's your photography project going?
Pretty good. I've taken some really nice shoots so far.
What are you taking photo of?
I'm trying to get shoots of all the different sculptures on display around town.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. The city has certainly put up a lot of work of art all over the place. Have you seen the one at the entrance to Stanley Park?
Yes, I have. That's one of the sculptures I've taken photos of already.
Cool. Well, let me know if you need any help.
I will, thanks.
Okay, thank you. So here it says, I've taken, the city has certainly put up, and I've taken. So notice, contracted, contracted, and here, since we're talking about the city, it means that it's a third person of the singular, right? That's why we're using has. The city has certainly put up. So sometimes with the present perfect, we can use expressions like to, for example, if I say, oh, I have just finished the homework, or she has only seen one movie. So there are many expressions that we can we can use with the present perfect, and we can use them between the auxiliary verb have or has and the past participle, or we can use it before the verb and the auxiliary verb, right? So this is just like for practicing. This is a preview. Remember, in the next topic, we're gonna go and see like of this what I'm saying. Okay, two more conversations. Let's listen to this one.
What do you think of this pizza?
It's awesome. You?
Yeah, it's really good. How many pieces have you had so far?
Just 2. What about you?
I've already eaten 3.
So that means there's 1 more piece left for you and 2 left for me, right?
Guess so.
Okay, so I will love having Jose Ruiz and Guillermo reading, please. Now we're gonna switch your
Okay, can I
partners.
start?
Of course.
And what do you think of this pizza?
It's awesome. You
Yeah, it's really good. How many pieces have you had so far?
used to. What about you?
I've already eaten 3.
So that means there one piece left for you and 2 left for me, right?
I guess so.
Very good, thank you. And we have one more conversation, and let's listen to it.
Jean, you're a painter, right?
I guess you could say that. It's just a hobby though.
Would you ever be interested in doing a painting of my dog?
Your dog? I could try. I've only ever done landscapes. Why do you want a painting of your dog?
Because Charlie's my best friend and he's getting old. I want something to remember him by when he's gone.
Oh, that makes total sense. Okay, I'll try, but like I said, I've never done a painting of a dog before.
That's okay. I'm sure it'll be great.
Okay, so now I'm gonna have Susana and Jose Maria reading this. So, Jose, can you start, please?
Okay. Jen, you're a painter, right?
I guess you could say that. It's just a hobby though.
Would you ever be interested in doing a painting of my dog?
Your dog? I could try. I've only ever done landscapes. What do you want a painting of your dog?
Because Charlie is my best friend and he's getting old. I want something to remember him by when he's gone.
Oh, that makes total sense. Okay, I'll try, but like I said, I've never done a painting of a dog before.
That's okay. I'm sure it'll be great.
Excellent. Okay, now it says in here, look at the parts in blue. These are using the present perfect. Decide and discuss the time meaning of this past. When did the action they are describing happen? Okay, so for example, let's go, we're gonna check into conversations. Here, for example, it says, I've taken some really nice shots so far. When do you think this happened? Does the conversation tell us when he had taken those pictures?
What happened in this part? What is the question, teacher?
I'm asking if we have, for example, here it says, I've taken some really nice shots so far. When do you think this action happened? I mean, we don't have exact information when we use present perfect, but if somebody tells you this, when do you think these events have happened?
I think this person taking some shots until now, no?
It means that he's still taking pictures, right? That's what you understood. Okay, good. For example, if they're talking, it says, look at the question first. It says, how's your photography project going? It means that he is working in a project, right? So if it says pretty good, I've taken some real nice shots so far, it means that it's something that started in a near past. I mean, we don't know when it started, but we know it's something that he's working on. So probably it started, as I said, in a near past, and this action is still going on, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's check another one. Let's talk about the one of the pizza. Okay, they're having the conversation in the present. They're eating the pizza in the present. So in here, it says, how many pieces have you had so far? When do you think he's referring to? I mean, how do you know if he's referring like to something in general or something that is going on in that moment, or what tells you, or how do you know when this action is happening or happened?
Yes, I think is something is happening now.
Yes, it's happening now. I mean, the event, the situation that they're eating is happening now, right? So probably it's also the same. It's referring to a near past, not that past, right?
Yes.
Okay, now let's go then to the topic. Everybody, please, let's go to the present perfect indefinite past 7-1. Let me know when you're here.
And where's picture? 7-1?
Grammar 7-1, present perfect indefinite past.
Indefinite past. Indefinite past. What is this?
Okay, cool.
7-1.
Okay, so here it says, I haven't heard this album yet. Have you? Yes, I have. It's really good. Okay, remember that, again, when we're talking about something and we use present perfect, we're talking about something we have the experience of, right? So when we are talking about, for example, in here, we're just talking like in general, right? I haven't heard it. Never in my life, I haven't heard it. So when we want to know if the other person has the experience, we ask, have you? And yes, I have. I mean, she's not giving more information. She's just saying, yes, I have. So let's start with the present perfect simple. The present perfect simple structure is compounded by have or has plus the past participle of the verb. Positive and negative sentences. Okay, so for the affirmative or positive sentences, I'm going to use have or has. Have for I with they, and has for he, she, and it. Or haven't or hasn't for the same, right? Haven't for I with they, and hasn't for he, she, and it. I had a cup of coffee this morning. She has been to many concerts. She hasn't been to many concerts. Okay, so the present perfect, it's like a very flexible that can describe something that happened in a very long term past, like something that happened many time ago, many years, many months ago, or something that happened just like in the same day you are, but in the morning, or like before, right? Just before. That's the keyword. The present perfect helps me to talk about something that happened before the present time. When? I don't know. It doesn't matter that, I mean, it's not that relevant, not that important. And for example, here, you can be a little specific, but not that specific, because if I say that they had a cup of coffee this morning, they have had a cup of coffee this morning, I'm not being that specific telling you when. I'm just saying that in the morning, and the morning can be like from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., right? So we're not being that specific by saying the time it happened, but we're saying that they have had one, right, in the morning, and that's it. And that is enough, because we don't need that much information. If you need more information, then you will have to ask using past simple, right? When did you have it? And then you can, oh, we had it at 10 a.m. Like if you want more info, you can use other tenses. Now,
Teacher, but in this case, this example, you can, can I say a period of time? For example, if I ask a friend, can have you gone to USA last year? Is correct? Or no?
that in that case, you could ask with past simple. Did you go to USA last year? If you
Ah,
want to use past present perfect, you can use have you gone to a USA lately?
lately, últimamente, lately.
Okay,
Okay. Okay, thanks.
you're welcome. Okay, now let's talk about the questions. Here, for example, we're gonna use the same have for I with they and has for he, she, and it. Have you eaten breakfast today? Have they had a cup of coffee this morning? Has she been to many concerts? Notice that even though here we're using some words that tells me like to the time lapse I'm talking about, for example, today or this morning, I'm not asking for something in a specific. I mean, I'm not asking you to tell me at what time you had it or in what moment you had it. I just want to know if you have had it or if you have eaten or if you have been, and that's it. The answer to these questions will be yes or no. And if you want, I repeat, if you want more specific information, then you will need probably to use another tense. Since the present perfect is most commonly used for something to the past, and then you will have to ask like with the past simple, right? Like, for example, if I ask you, have you ever eaten breakfast today? And the person can tell me, oh, yes, I have. Then I'm going to ask, what did you have? And then I'm asking simple past, and then the person can be more specific, or what did you eat? And I'm also using past simple, and the person can be more specific, or when did you eat it? And again, that person can be more specific with the details. Now let's talk about the use. The present perfect is used to connect the past with the present. What does this mean? That we're talking about something that we had the experience of, but it means that it's still not, I'm not gonna say that it still happens in the present, because for that we have an older tense, but let's say the effect. For example, if you say that you have seen a movie many times, even though you're not watching the movie right now, the effect of the action is still here because you still remember about the movie, right? So let's say that that is one of the uses of the present perfect. It is used to connect the past with the present because the memories, the events, and everything are still here. It is used when we think about the past and the present together. So we connect it because, as I said, for example, the example of the movie or the example of a song. Have you ever heard that song? Or have you ever heard something of Justin Timberlake, for example? And then if you answer yes, it means that you are connecting those memories from the past to the present. You're bringing them from the past to the present. For example, I have met Jim. What does this mean? That in the past, a day in the past, you met him, but you still know him, right? That's why it connects the past with the present. She has learned how to play the saxophone. It means that one day in the past, well, not one day, right? But in a period of time in the past, she learned how to play it and she still knows how to play it. That's why I'm using present perfect, because it connects the past with the present. I haven't seen Chris. What does this mean? That since the last time I saw him, I haven't seen him. It means that since that moment in the past that I saw him for the last time, there's been a while since I haven't known anything with him. Well, probably seen him because probably I've talked to him or something. And here, there's been an accident. It means that an hour ago or some time ago, something happened, an accident happened, and everything is still there because we're still seeing the cars and everything. Yes?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. It is often used to say that a finished past action is connected with the present. It is not important when the action happened. Our meaning is that it happened in the past, but this event is connected to now in some way. As it says in here, in some way, because I cannot use a present perfect to say that something is still going on. And with going on, I mean that it's still happening, it's still taking action. The present perfect connects the past with the present because it's the effect of the past is still in the present, just the effect, not the action. okay? For example, if I say that tree has died, what does this mean? That in the present, the tree is dead. Peter hasn't arrived yet. What does that mean? That Peter is not here yet. Have you seen this movie? What does this mean in present? Do you know the movie? I want to know if you still remember about that movie. I haven't checked my emails. What does that mean? That you don't know if you have any emails because you haven't checked. Sorry, wait, please. Sorry.
Bless you.
Thank you. Okay, now the present perfect is in use if we're not thinking about the present. For example, Adele has released 3 studio albums. What does it mean? That she's still making music. I'm not talking about the action. I'm just talking about that event happened, and in the present, the album still exists. And in the present, she's still making music. John Lennon released 8 studio albums, past simple, not present perfect. Why? Because John Lennon stopped making music. He doesn't make music anymore. So we don't have information. That's why it's better to use just past simple, right? You use past perfect, present perfect, sorry, you use present perfect when you know, for example, in this case of Adele and John Lennon, you use present perfect when you know that it is still an artist, that is still young and that she or he has plans of making music. So that's why it's better to use present perfect in that way. But if you know that it's a retired person, or that probably the person died or something like that, it's definitely better to use past simple. Now, up to now, we often use the present perfect with words that mean at some time up to now, such as never, ever, before, lately, so far, already, in the last or past few days, yet, and recently. For example, let me just check it if it is here. No, it is not, but always also works here. For example, if I say, I've always liked that singer, what does that mean? That since the time I knew about this singer, I have loved this, I have loved her, right? And in the present, the effect is still here. So that's what it means. For example, let's use one with lately. The weather has been really good lately. I'm not saying when, I'm just saying that lately. I mean, use your imagination. Probably lately for you, it's like, I don't know, this year, or from a certain month till now. What have you done today so far? In this case, we're talking about the same day, basically it's the present, but we're talking about all the events that happened before, right? Even though it's only 11 o'clock, I've already eaten lunch. What does it mean? That you were not expected to eat lunch at 11, but you've already done it, you already eaten. So that's why it is something that started in the past and still has the effect in the present because it's still early. I know what to do because it happened before. This has happened before. What does this mean? That it's something that you have experienced. So never, ever. For example, it is very common to use questions with have you ever? Have you ever gone? Have you ever visited? Have you ever seen? Have you ever heard? And I think, I'm not sure, but I think I already told you about this. We use the ever in questions when we're asking about something that is not that common. For example, if I tell you, have you ever, a giraffe, given birth? Sorry for the question, but I thought it was the only question that came to my mind. Okay, have you ever seen a giraffe giving birth? That is a question. I'm using ever because it is not something common, right? I mean, I'm not expecting you to say yes. It's just a random question about something that is not that much common. So we use ever in the questions with have you ever to ask about something that you don't actually know. I mean, you don't know what the person is going to answer. For example, it's not the same if I tell you, oh, have you seen Maria? Have you seen Maria? Then if I ask, have you ever seen Maria? I mean, the difference between these two questions, it's strong. For example, if I tell you, have you seen Maria? It means that you know Maria, you know her, and you probably talk with her because we were in the same place and because she told you she was going to be there or something like that. You know Maria. If I ask you, have you seen Maria? It's because probably the answer, I know it's going to be a yes, or maybe a not, but I mean, you know her, you know about her. But if I ask, for example, have you ever seen Maria? Let's say that Maria is an artist. I don't know your answer because she's an artist, right? So it's not that common to know famous people. You see the difference?
Teacher,
Yes.
but it's the same if I say, for example, have you ever gone to Paris? To Paris?
Yes.
If-
Difference is because it's no, sorry. Tell me.
If I say, have you gone to Paris? Is the same? Have you gone to Paris or have you ever gone to Paris? It's the same, isn't it?
No, I'm going to use your examples here because you touch a very important topic. I'm going to write them into different. Have you ever gone to Paris?
Mhm, for example.
Have you gone?
No, have you gone to Paris? Mhm.
And I'm going
What
to add one more.
What is the difference?
Wait, I'm going to add one more because probably you want to ask the last one. Okay. Have you ever gone to Paris? The first one, it's like, we're asking because it's probably something that is not that common. I mean, even though nowadays it's very common, people traveling to Paris, it's something that it's not like for everyone, right? So it's probably more appropriate to ask whatever. Have you ever gone to Paris? Because we don't know what the person is going to answer, right? Something that, as I said, not that common. It's nothing that happens every Sunday or every year, right? Have you gone to Paris? Yes, this one you can use it if you know that the person been to Europe, for example. If you know that the person traveled to Europe, you can ask, have you gone to Paris? It's like, okay, you were in Europe and I want to know if you were in Paris. You see the difference? Yes. But now I'm going to show you the difference between gone and been, which is actually a big difference. Because let's talk about any destiny, right? Any place you're traveling, but we're gonna use this example. Let me make it bigger. When we talk about have you ever gone or have you gone, the ever doesn't matter here. I'm talking about gone and been. If I say, have you gone to Paris? It means that you are in that place. If I tell you, for example, if I call you and I tell you, okay, I know, let's place the same context. You are in Europe and I call you and I ask you, okay, Jose, I want to know, have you gone to Paris? It means that I want to know if you are there, or since you are traveling, you're moving, right? You are moving. I want to know if you are there or nearby, or if you're going, literally going. Yes? And if I ask, have you ever been to Paris? This is like, if we are both in Mexico and I ask you, have you been to Paris? Have you ever been to Paris? I just want to know if you've traveled there. This one, the one with gone, it means that you are there or you're traveling there. And this one means that if you've visited. That is the difference between these.
Like a tourist or something like that.
Yes, as a tourist. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. I hope it's clear. Okay. Sorry if I talk too much. Sometimes I don't know if it.
And you can say too. Have you visited? Or have you ever visited?
Yeah, but probably if you say have you visited, will be more accurate if you already know that the person been there. For example, let's say, let's pretend I'm making a conversation with you and I tell you and I ask you, have you ever been to Paris? And then you say yes. And let's pretend, because the truth is that is not. Let's pretend that I also visited Paris once. I hope so one day going there. Okay, and I tell you, okay, so since both we have the same experience of being in Paris, now I'm asking you, okay, have you gone to the Eiffel Tower? And then we can start having a conversation or whatever. And then I forgot what I was going to ask you, sorry. I just forgot, but well, sorry.
And the museum, the famous museum in Paris. What is the famous museum?
Museum? I don't know. I mean, I know it's the one with a triangle shape, right? Like a pyramid.
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't know the name of it.
Okay, me neither.
Sorry. Okay, well, never mind then. Let's continue. If I remember later, I can tell you. Okay, well.
It's the Louvre. Do you remember, teacher?
I mean, I know what place you're talking about, but I don't
Mhm.
know the name. Sorry.
Mhm.
Before
Thanks.
is also very common to use it, because when we say, oh, this has happened before, it's very general, and I don't need to tell you exactly when it happened. When I say before, it means that it happened in the past. I mean, and that's all what matters. And remember that yet is used to as very common to use in questions. For example, if I say, have you done your homework yet? And you say, no, I haven't finished yet, or something, it is used to say that the action is not finished yet, but it will be done in a future term, right? It could be a short or long future term. And already is used when we are talking about something that was done before it was expected. For example, this one of the lunch, I've already eaten lunch. It means that this person wasn't expected to eat before 11 o'clock. So we're using already because it happened before the expected time. Okay, now unfinished time periods. We can use the present perfect to describe actions that have happened at a time period that has not yet finished. For example, today, this week, this year, this class. I haven't seen John today. Have you? What does this mean? That since the day started till the time that is now, I haven't seen this person, but the day hasn't finished yet. So maybe I can see this person in the future of the same day. Next one. I'm trying to save money. I haven't spent much money this month. What does this mean? That I mean, let's say that we are in the 15th of February. It means that the first 15 days of the month, I haven't spent money, but I don't know, probably the rest of the month, the rest of the month I will, or maybe I continue saving. I mean, something, I would just use these type of expressions because we're referring to like today. For example, if I say today to all the day, if I say this month to all the month. This week has been difficult. What does this mean? That since the week started, it had been difficult. So probably can continue being difficult or it can change. So these are unfinished time periods because I'm referring to something that will finish, but at this time that I'm using this expression, they're not done yet. And also for experience, which is like the most common one. Another unfinished time period is one's life. Because of this, when we talk about life experiences, we often use the present perfect. Ever, never, and before are often used when talking about life experience. Has there ever been a band more famous than the Beatles? Sorry, that's why we're using, has there ever been? It's like we're using ever because as I said, it's something that the answer is probably going to be no. I mean, it's nothing common. I've never eaten at the restaurant, has it? This one has the same meaning as if I say I haven't eaten in that restaurant. But let's say that it's a negative in a positive structured sentence. I have never eaten at the restaurant. What does this mean? That I haven't had the experience of it in there. Adele's performed in this city before. Notice something. In this case, we're using apostrophe S. Apostrophe S followed by a past participle verb means that it is present perfect. This is a contracted form of has, apostrophe S. Okay, Adele's performed in the city before. What does this mean? That she's been here before. Now, been versus gone. This is what I was telling you. Now, let's talk about this. When we want to use the verb go in the present perfect, we must choose to use either been or gone as its past participle form. Been means that someone has visited and returned from some place, like as a tourist, as Jose said. It means that you went there as a tourist because you're back to your home place. And gone means that the person has not returned yet. What does that mean? That the person is still in that place. Have you been to the USA? This means that you are here. We are both in the same place and we're talking about our traveling experience. Go, what does this mean? That I haven't visited. Have you ever been to the gym today? What does this mean? That I want to know if the person has visited that place. Because of this, the use of been is popular when describing experiences. She's never been to another country. Has Tom ever been to work on time? What does this mean? That is not that possible. So notice that when we're using ever, it's because that the answer is going to be something that we're not expecting, right? Or we don't actually know. So if we say, has Tom ever been to work on time? It's because we know that Tom is always late. Okay, so notice the difference. Remember, been means visiting and return from the place. It could be a city, it could be a place, whatever. And gone means that the person is still there, has not returned yet. Yes? So far, so good?
Yes, teacher, I understand. Mhm.
Thank you. Now,
For example, when some people, some person died, and I heard that the people say, he's gone,
yes.
he's gone.
It's a kind of sad example, but yes.
No return.
Yes. Yes, no return for that person. Okay. How many times? It is very common to use the present perfect to say that something has happened many times up to the present, or to describe the number of times something has happened. For example, I've been there a few times. So a few times means like 1, 2, or 3. How many times have you seen this band play live? It means, for example, if I tell you, oh, have you seen, I don't know, Maná playing live? And then you say, oh, yes. And then I can ask you, how many times have you seen Maná play live? And then you can say, oh, many times, or once, or twice, or 3 times. How many albums has she recorded? She's smoked so many cigarettes tonight. And I use present perfect because maybe the person will continue, will keep smoking, right? The action is not done yet. Okay, now, since I was speaking this whole class, tell me, is it clear? Do you have questions, comments? I hear you.
I think it is clear, but I maybe a little difficult for me.
Okay, maybe we practice. Let's go and practice.
Maybe.
Okay, I've shared it with you. Feel free to enter to the exercise. And here it says, conjugate the verbs in blue in the present perfect. If you click the past participle, because remember, the present perfect needs the past participle, same as in the simple past. I'm talking about the regular verbs, but sometimes it would change. And there are actually some irregular verbs that keep the same. Okay, so if you correctly, but well, what are you going to do? You're just gonna make present perfect sentences, interrogative, affirmative, or maybe negative, okay? So what are you going to do? First of all, identify the subject. Remember, I, you, we, and they go with have. He, she, and it go with has. And once you have identified the subject and you have chosen have or has, now you're gonna change the verb into its past participle form. For example, take, taken. This is a question. So the subject is you. What auxiliary verb am I going to use? Have, very good. Have you. And then it says that I need to use the verb see. So how am I going to change the verb see into its past participle form? Have you seen? Very good. Okay, so this is what you're gonna do. If it is an affirmative sentence, you're gonna make it an affirmative sentence. If it is negative, we'll make it negative with hasn't or haven't. And if it is a question, we'll remember to start with the auxiliary verb followed by the subject and then the past participle form of the verb.
Yes.
Clear? Ready, guys?
Yes.
Okay, let's go and check them. Letter C. Guillermo, can you help me please with letter C?
Yes. I have forgot your name.
I have forgotten your name. Okay. Letter D, Susana, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Letter C.
B.
B. Sim.
Letter D.
Okay. We waved raised a good child.
We've raised a good child like this.
Sí. Yes.
Thank you. Letter E, Jose Luis.
Okay, letter, what is the letter?
E.
Mhm. E, mhm. And the teacher has postponed the test until next week.
Okay. Letter F, Jose Maria.
Those clothes haven't gone out of style.
Okay, haven't gone out of style. Very good. Letter G, Guillermo.
It has started to rain.
It has started to rain. Very good. Letter H. Sorry, Susana.
Okay. Letter H. Has become a really nice day.
Has become. Letter I, Jose Ruiz.
Mhm. A new school has been built on Matthew Street.
Has been built. Okay. Very good. Letter J and K, Jose Maria.
Have you ever found money on the street?
Have you ever found? Very good. Okay, well, we still have many sentences to check and it's 7 o'clock already. And I said this because of the next class the other teacher has. We're gonna continue checking them tomorrow, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys. See you
teacher.
tomorrow.
See you
See you
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
See you.
Bye.